Yo, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? We live, we live, we live. And for the people that catch me later, what's up? What's good? I had a thought today while I was at work before my brother get on. Um, yeah, we don't always know what demons people are fighting. So, on this podcast, we talk about showing grace a lot. So make sure we tend to do that because we don't know what demons and people are fighting, and a lot of times we judge them for whatever, and they shouldn't do that, they shouldn't do this, they need to fix this. We don't know what they fighting off rip. So yeah, I just wanted to drop that in before my brother joined, just to second, we got some stuff to talk about tonight. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. There you go.
I'm fighting demons.
That's funny.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, my great grandma got hit. Yo. Yeah, no, what's good, bro? What's good? What you been up to? How's your week, man?
Yo, man, it's Wednesday, and I'm back here to celebrate another beautiful episode of the ABP with my family, and I'm happy to be here. So I appreciate all y'all that are viewing. Those in Singapore, shout out to y'all.
Singapore. Shout out to Singapore. We was looking at those numbers, and it was random, but it was a pleasant surprise. So that was Singapore, rocking with us.
Yeah, it's a grind.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind.
We appreciate it.
We growing it for sure. We growing, and people starting to tune into us. I guess people care what we got to say.
So
yeah, let's without further ado, let's get it rocking. Yo. Welcome to the All Done Podcast Live. I am DJ J Shakes Up, chosen one. That is my boy Tracy. Tracy, what's good?
Man, I need some cooler nicknames. Every week I just think to myself, like, you got all the nicknames.
I mean, but think about it. Like, think about Slick Rick the Ruler and MC Ricky D. So it could be DJ J Shakes the chosen one, and
Yeah, but that doesn't
Tracy D.
No, I don't. That's terrible. I don't like it.
MC Tracy D.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I've had plenty of conversations. Speaking of your nicknames, about someone once heard me call you Fat Boy, and people were like, "Oh my God!"
They clutched their pearls,
bro. It was a problem.
And I feel like we've explained that before. It's more an affectionate thing now.
I feel like we have a lot of times, but people are some people are still really put off. And I don't think I've called you that. But I mean, sometimes I'm gonna call you that on the podcast, maybe once or twice.
I mean, I don't remember. I don't recall. Not at least not. Like I said, we explained it on past recordings, but I don't think we've done it live. I don't know why I got so many names. I had an issue. A weird moment. So when I go DJ, right? Mm-hmm. People or whoever introduced me to the people as I'm walking out, this is the DJ, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what up? My name is, do I say Mike or do I use my stage name?
I think you're supposed to use your stage name. That's the whole point.
Yeah, right? No. Yeah. So a lot of times I say my name, I'm Shakes, what's good, blah, 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 blah. I don't do the whole.
See, this is what I'm saying.
I mean, Shakes is short for J Shakes. DJ J
Which is another. That's what I'm saying. It's Hova, Jay-Z, Hov.
Yeah, so Shakes is just short for J Shakes. It's
to the Izzo, y'all, come on.
The chosen one is my extra title, the chosen one. I made that one day, just out of randomly, I was doing a little promo video.
ADP family, please.
Yeah, give my brother a cool nickname, bro.
How do we get nicknames? I need nicknames.
I mean, you prosperity.
Tasteful ones. I mean, brother Prosperity Jones is on some. We gotta bring that brother back. I'm gonna have him back on the show soon. So
you just prosperity. You the sack.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So speaking of, y'all, make sure y'all DM the prosperity merch for customized gear.
Yo, facts. I got some stuff coming for y'all in the next couple weeks, man.
Yeah,
I've been talking to that with my man, the brilliant designer that is behind Prosperity Merch. And right now, obviously, we don't have a home page type of thing, but the customs are definitely custom in.
Yeah, you'll get something that somebody probably else won't. Somebody else probably won't have.
If you want a one
hit them up. Yeah, hit them up.
Merch if you want a one of one.
I'm thinking about this, that, and the third, and boom. You feel me?
We'll hook you up for sure. Check it out. We'll hook you up.
Yeah, facts. So, yeah. Without further ado, what we talking about? Well, I guess I'll start off with what we talking about. Henry Ruggs sentenced today. And for those who don't know, who's been, I don't know, maybe not be into, sports stuff like that.
Now, some people might not remember because this happened a little while
2020, 2021, something like that. Henry Ruggs was an NFL player at the time. At the time, he was, he might have just finished his rookie year, right?
It was early in his NFL campaign.
Yeah, it was either his first or second season, and he was driving under the influence, doing speeds upward of 100 miles an hour, crashing into someone, and unfortunately, unalived the person and her dog. And he was just sentenced today. He was sentenced to 3 to 10. 3 to 10. Like I said, he unalived someone, and it's, like I said, it was an unfortunate situation because, bro, you didn't even have to do all that. But so some people says he probably won't even serve a full 3, and which rolls me into the next point. Tory Lanez didn't take anyone's life, and he was sentenced to 10 years. I don't think it was 3 to 10, 5 to 10, or 6. I think he was just sentenced to 10 years. Or was it 10 or 13 or something like that?
I think it was 10 to 13. But I mean, either way, that's
So the question becomes, how do you get 10 years for assault? I mean, granted, it was still, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he wasn't wrong.
Well, it could have been attempted murder, right? I don't remember.
It depends on what state you're in. A lot of states don't have attempted murder laws.
Sure. That's true. And
so with a deadly battery or whatever.
I'm not sure exactly what Tory was charged with, but I don't think that's the purpose of our conversation. So I think what the purpose is we got 2 black men this week, who did crimes and are being sentenced, and it is being covered heavily by mass media. And I think that was
that's a fact. And but like I said, my well, that was your point. My point was, how do one end someone's life and one doesn't, but the one who didn't end someone's life get more time than the one who did?
Well, I think that goes into my point as far as high profile situations, right? The Megan Tory situation, highly publicized. We got. I've never seen this before. We got people tweeting about the breakdown. We got tweet trial breakdowns for the Tory Lanez trial, which I've never.
I mean, people starting to do it more. People.
When's the last one? OJ. And this is before OJ.
I mean, even with that now, I said people starting to tweet and break down trials more. I've been watching so much on Snapchat about the Melly trial.
Yeah, the Melly trial.
They breaking every single thing down. It's just, but
so I mean, the clear question I think a lot of people have, and I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I'll ask it. You got a lot of black men in highly publicized trials. What does that mean, or how does that affect the subconscious of those who might be a little younger, right? Because you got, like you said, you got Melly, highly publicized trial. You got Henry Ruggs, has been a highly publicized trial. Tory Lanez, highly publicized trial. And it just only seems that, no, we
just got to move smarter. Back in the early 2000s, late 90s, remember they used to talk about the hip hop police and stuff like that.
That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. But we just got to move smarter. Once you get to a certain situation, change your surroundings. Change, example, don't hire security if you need and hopefully your security don't let you down when it comes to certain things. But we just got to be smarter. Do you think that's deport? I don't know. Do we deport people to Canada?
I don't know. I heard that they didn't want to because they didn't trust that he was going to come back, and I was reading some articles. But I think I don't like to get in the weeds about the technicalities of some of these cases because I'm going to feel how I feel, and I think our listeners are going to feel how they feel. Hellfire, go get that on Amazon. For those of you who can't see, there's a video of a very important literary work.
Yeah.
I can speak English. on my man's screen. It's by Tracy Branch. You can go cop it on Amazon. But yeah, I think we're promoting the hell out of stuff today.
Yeah, we just on it, bro. Plugging everything.
I think it's important to realize, like, we're not in a silo. So it's like when you see black
we're not in
a silo, like an individual cone of information. Does that make sense to you?
I like it. I like it. That was.
You like that word? You like that quick? You like that?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We're not in a silo. For those of you listening, I need y'all to understand we're not in a silo. Continue, bro.
All right. So I guess my point is, like, yeah, we're not in a silo. So it's when you start to see these black men getting put away and getting sentenced, again, my brain automatically goes to why. There's plenty of people committing crimes.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of people killing people. There's plenty of people kidnapping black women, killing black women, right? There's plenty of people in other genres of music who are doing drugs, right? Like, these things are happening, but it only seems like when we start to look at cases, those 3 cases right now, extremely popular. If you open any of your social media apps right now, Melly, Tory Lanez, Henry Ruggs, 3 black men being sentenced, taken to jail is what you're going to see in some form or fashion.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they didn't deserve it, right? Because I don't want to get in the weeds of it. I'm going to have my opinions, and you're going to have yours.
Yeah, we don't want to be in a silo too long.
But my point is, what are your thoughts about why it's covered the way it's covered?
I mean, for obvious reasons with them, they're public figures, they're well known.
You think so? That's what it is? They're public
yeah, because I know a few people that's been, put in jail locally and it wasn't covered the same way. So
it wasn't. Why is that?
Because they're not public figures. They're just, regular people, average Joes committing crimes. And I believe.
Do you think you don't have other members of other ethnic groups committing crimes?
Absolutely. And I think some of them go to jail. Some of them don't.
But when are they publicized, like those 3 that we're mentioning right now?
Right now, currently, the former president of the United States has been indicted. And it's pretty public.
Oh, is it? Yeah, because he's running for president again. So what do you, right?
No, he's already been indicted federally, I think.
He's running for president.
No, he's saying he's running for president again. You never really know with him. And I think, so, so
is Donald J. Trump going to jail? Did you believe that?
Do I think he's going to jail?
Yeah, do you think he's going to prison?
At first I didn't. Now I'm not. I'm in the woods about it. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. And I mean he could, but history would say that that's not happening.
I think I said this one time before on the show. I don't think it's good for the country if he goes to jail, or if he, really this whole situation I don't think it's good for the nation, because now everybody looking at us like, yo, what the hell y'all got going on over there in the United States? And
it's cool. So that's a great segue, because this is a question. I think this is a little off topic, because we're talking about the 3 black men that were in the mass media the last couple of weeks. But I wanted to ask you, and this is, I have no bias. I just want to get my partner's take on this.
Yeah.
If Donald J. Trump, if we black Americans, you're right, come from slavery, if we were to have a magic wand, and I was to tell you that you could get reparations for everything your ancestors have endured in this country, and the only way that you can get it is Donald Trump would have to be elected, and he would deliver your reparations. Would you vote for him?
That's tough. That is a good question. I mean, how much are we talking? We talking about buying my vote, pretty much, is what you're saying.
I mean, that's what is that not elections anyway? That's what they do.
No, because I haven't got paid to vote yet.
No, but the promise of some sort of payment has always.
I mean, there's always the promise of things being better.
Yeah, of course. So don't make it seem like, oh my God, that's such a crazy concept.
I'm not. All right, so you're the big reparations guy. You feel me?
Sure.
Because I don't believe it's going to happen.
I'm going to clip this.
I believe it should.
Okay.
I believe it should. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think even if they say, well, you'll receive reparations if he's president again, we're gonna get him some now. He doesn't get my vote. Oh, you said a magic wand. We got a magic wand now. We're at Hogwarts.
Yeah, we're in Hogwarts. We're putting disbelief to the side. Donald Trump will be elected, and you will get reparations if that happens.
I mean, my question is this, all right? While we waving the magic wand,
go ahead, wave it.
Why does it? If I got a magic wand, why does I have to let him be president first?
Oh, why y'all are so
bippity-boppity
funny. Y'all are so funny. Okay, I just wanted. Okay, the fact that you're.
So, what's your answer? I want to hear your answer. To that. Would you wait?
It wasn't a question that was posed to me. It was a question that was posed to you.
Yeah, I know. But I gave my answer. For me.
No, you didn't. No,
for me.
You did not give your answer.
All right, so here's the thing. For me, he can have my vote because
cool.
I don't believe we've had any sitting presidents that was really for, us and in a system that wasn't designed for us. So give me my reparations, give me my 40 acres and a mule, whatever the case may be. Now, what's the amount of the reparations? Because don't say that and then my reparations is $50.
No. We're talking trillions of dollars for 13% of the population. So we're talking substantial.
Because that's enough money to affect change.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's enough. So even as the president, like we know, money talks, and
we're talking reparations.
Yeah. That puts me in a position to make those changes. Because whether he's the president or not, I make my stride and do my thing I can to make things change, but I don't have that financial backing yet to do that. So
your squeamishness about it is
because it was an interesting question. I wasn't prepared for it. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm just saying for all of those, I'm going to clip this, and this will be in a reel at some point, because I want Black people have a tough time separating their emotions and politics. We really struggle with that.
So I don't think it was an emotional thing. I think it was just then. No, I'm talking about just then when you asked me. It wasn't a feeling of it. It was more so.
It wasn't you, but
it was.
About it for a second.
Yeah, I had to, but I had to think like how was I affected when he was the president of the United States?
You weren't, which is what a lot of Black people. Now, granted, I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, but Black people's asses didn't get less whooped when he was in office than we've been getting whipped.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Now, granted, some other groups we had to spread pain. Some other groups had to take on some negative things, and I don't condone that at all, and I feel bad, and I want to advocate for that change. But every other group is always looking out for themselves. What's your hesitation on a question like that? Because we are the better in the by and by people.
Better in the by and by. Now, that's a good question. That was a good question, and
what topic? I'm sorry, we got off, but I.
No, I like it. Like I said, we don't practice this stuff. We got a base, whatever. But no, that's a good question.
But go back to topic. Did you have anything else on the Black men in the news recently that have been on trial publicly, and what the perception of that does to our community, and anything else you want to add?
I mean, if anything, I hope it teaches us, move better, move smarter, move wiser.
So.
Don't mess up the bag. Don't mess up the money.
Because
like I said, one of my favorite.
In all three cases, they did, right? In all three cases, these are wealthy or rich, at least, right? They messed up the bag.
That brings my favorite 50 Cent interview when he was him and Jay was going back and forth, and Jay told him, "I don't like what you said. Nah, I liked it." He said, "But I'm gonna get." No, he said, he's seeing 50 and was like, "I don't like what you said." So 50 was like, "Oh, what we gonna do? Kill each other?" And Jay said, "It mess up the money."
Yeah, he said they was beefing. Yeah, they was beefing, and they ran into each other in the elevator, and it was like, "Oh, it's a standoff." And then they talked, and it was like, "What are you about to do?"
We're not gonna mess up we're not gonna mess up the money. And that's such an understanding,
OD on code. On code.
Yeah, so that's my feelings on that, and we got to move smarter, and even as a community on a lower level, we just got to move smarter so we can grow together. And I'm not a big oh, we shall overcome, hand holding, but
sure?
I don't have to like you to want to help you build if it'll help me build.
There you go. It's a fair statement.
You feel me? Just like when I think it was Derek G that said, I don't have to like you as a person to want to win.
I don't.
We on teams. We just on teams.
Shout out to team sports for all those who, bad sports like football. Football teaches you things like that.
Yeah, so same thing with community. I don't have to like you. And then you pay attention to other cultures and stuff. Not all of them like each other, but you know what? They're going to make sure the next man don't fall.
No, I'm going to tell you something. I mean, when we talk about racism on this show, the concept of anti-blackness is not something that is echoed by us. And maybe, those who practice it, they don't always like each other, but what they are on code about is anti-blackness. And keeping, people that look like myself and my partner here, in a certain state. And they've operated like that for years and years and years. And so, learn from the system that you happen to be a part of.
Yeah, that's a fact. Earlier today, I posted something to the page.
Yeah, and check it out.
I sent it to a few people, so I got feedback on it or whatever. The post went something like this. It was a lady said, me and my boyfriend of 3 years was at my cousin's wedding, and he said to me, if you can lose weight, you'll be next. Like, as far as you'll be next to get married, this, that, and the third. Yeah, and she did it. Yeah. She did it. She lost the weight, and he kept his word. They got married. And what's your feelings on that? Because I've had some interesting responses to that.
I think I'll start with saying that it's probably scripted.
Yeah, for sure. I really think it's an ad or something like that. But
the
Magic Wand time.
Yeah, but the point is the concept is still true, right? Because I think a lot of us are in relationships with people who maybe we feel aren't physically appealing in ways that they can affect. Mm-hmm. There are certain things you can't change. So to the sisters out there who, you don't got eyebrows, I don't know if you can grow back eyebrows. To the brothers out there who you happen to be maybe a shorter brother, or for the short brothers out there, the short pins, you know what I'm saying? You can't grow. Right? I mean, shit, maybe it's a new world, but to this point, no, you can't.
There's definitely degrowing surgery.
But the thing about weight is, if a man, and this doesn't just go for women, but if a man or a woman is not happy with their significant other's weight, either because they gained a lot of weight during the relationship or they came in with that weight, that is something that, for the most part can be controlled. Now, obviously, don't get in the comments and don't message us talking about, what about that? Like, come on. Okay, obviously there are exceptions to the rule. But for the most of us, if you would like to, affect change in your weight, you can do that, right?
So you still didn't answer the question. Like, people know they can gain and lose weight if they want to.
Would I tell my wife or my girlfriend to lose weight and then I'll marry her?
Yeah. Well, not would you? What's your thoughts on it? I mean, if you could answer if you would, that's on you.
I mean, listen, I have no problem answering nothing. This is the ABP family, and I love my family. I want to be honest with them. So I want to answer your question directly, which was, what were my thoughts on the video? I think whatever floats your boat. I want you to rock out with your cock out. I want you to jam out with your clam out. Like, if you and your partner are happy with that arrangement, then y'all should do that arrangement, and you should keep that man or woman happy. Like, I don't have a problem with it if they don't have a problem with it.
You should run for office, bro. I'm just going to throw that out there. You should run for office.
I'm going to be a political revolutionary.
All right, so a few of the comments I received and, feedback I got was, oh, she should have left him.
Cat.
Because that means he don't love her as she is. He don't, she deserved better. He got to love her for whatever she is. She should have, I read some comments on the post. She should have lost weight for her and not for him, blah, blah, blah. Things along that line. Okay. So my feelings on it. Okay. Some people look at it as insensitive, this, that, and that. I look at it as motivation. Okay. He wanted his partner to be healthier. Maybe it could have been for a shallow reason, as far as I just want her to look.
Let's go with the shallow reason. Let's go with the shallow reason.
You said let's go with the shallow reason?
Yeah, because I don't want obviously.
Even if it's a shallow reason, when it comes to relationships, an aspect people want to leave out at a certain point in time is attractiveness.
Yes.
And what you're attracted to. Yes. So if your look drastically changed for whatever reason, and your partner is no longer attracted to you, and he wasn't looking to go out and cheat or anything like that. He was just saying, I want you to change this, that, and the third. There is nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Not according to your comments, though, right?
Huh?
Not according to your responses.
Not according to my comments. Not according to the responses I got. There is nothing wrong with that. And not even just that was a vehicle, a vessel to bring us somewhere else. But with anything in the relationship, see, then that's the thing about relationships. It has to be communication. So it may be something along the lines like, oh, well, if you notice, we don't go out as much anymore. You can say that, like, yeah, dang, that rings a bell. You're right. My bad. I'm slacking. Okay. So, and it's crazy because
but you're making it. Don't make it seem easy, because if you're a man and you have to tell your woman or vice versa, listen, we're not going out anymore or as much as we used to because you done put on a few LBs and I just don't want.
Well, you said because of LBs. I was using that as a general statement. Like, she might be saying it to him, like, you don't take me out anymore. And it's like, yo, damn,
your hair don't be done. Or
your nails don't be done. I mean, just small things. So, like, attractiveness is still part of the relationship. And yes, so that don't mean he loves her less. It could actually mean he loves her more.
So you even say it.
Yeah, I want to get married, because he didn't say, oh, if you don't lose it, we breaking up.
He didn't say that.
He just said if you lose it, we'll get married, and he stayed to it or whatever. But which actually somebody told me it wasn't scripted, because they've been saying it for a while, even through her journey. So that's still
scripted. It felt really scripted, but I think again, whatever floats your boat, man. But let's not, again, people are quick to judge because you got your own stuff going on. So when you hear a man tell a woman about her weight, and that being the problem, and that they can't get married, a lot of people automatically think exactly what a lot of people that comment think. Hey, no, he needs to be left. He don't love her. This is not cool. That's disrespectful. But number one, you don't know the nature of their relationship. Number two, you don't know how that man treats her. If he treats her like gold, and then he has a request for her to lose some weight, then I mean, and again, I don't want to say her, because it could be he too.
Yeah, it could be vice versa.
You know what I'm saying, brother? Sometimes we get a little bit on the heavy side. And if your lady come to you like, listen, baby, I need you to drop 50 so I can be attracted to you so that we can build this life.
Yeah. Or I want you to be around for our kids. Make sure you stay. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I looked at it as he was motivating her. Someone said to me, oh, well, no, he's dangling a prize in front of her and, the shiny object. Well, yeah.
You see cartoons back in the day, they used to have the cartoon character on a treadmill with the carrot in front of it?
Yeah, like, so it's a tool of motivation. So I guess it depends. It all just depends on how you look at it. You feel me? And,
Shorty got married, though. For all y'all haters out there, Shorty got married, though.
She got married. So when people say, "Oh, she should want to do it for her," she did want to do it. She did do it for her, so and she could get married.
Him too.
So he, like I said, in my view, like, he was doing it as motivation.
I mean, and
clearly she didn't take it that way. Like, oh, he's blah blah blah.
You know why? Because she knows
how he treats her.
That man loves me, and he wouldn't say anything intentionally malicious, so maybe I need to reflect and listen to what he's saying.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like
I said, I got everybody know I live with MS. I got a bad habit of, I'm not going to see my neurologist. And my queen makes sure to stay on me. Hey, listen, you need to make the doctor's appointment. You need to, take your meds, this, that, and the third. It's not coming from a place of malice. There's no malicious intent. It's no, I want you to, be better.
It's fantastic, man. It's fantastic. Yeah. On to the riverboat massacre.
No, we didn't get there yet. Did we?
Oh, we're not there yet?
No. Okay, because we let's go. Let's talk about the Riverboat Massacre. This is my, we skipping some, but it's cool.
I mean, we'll talk about
Well, it wasn't a massacre because nobody died. So don't call it a massacre.
I mean, some people, that was an online term. That's not my term for it. I think I have a different opinion about this topic than a lot of people do.
Okay. So to preference it, if like I said, you was just on any social media and you just miss everything, which chances are if you listen to us or watch us, you're on some type of social media. But to preference it, in Montgomery, Alabama, there was a security guard who was asking a group of people to move their boat because another boat needed to dock. And this security guard happened to be, a brother. He happened to be a black guy. And they jumped him. They jumped him. It was about 4 to 6 of them, huh?
They attempted to.
Well, no, they started off. They jumped dead on.
I don't know. I've seen people get jumped, and if they jumped, then that was a poor job.
I mean, I didn't say they could fight. I just said they jumped him. There was 6 of them. He was on the ground. They was kicking and swinging.
Go ahead.
And this, I don't know if they were family or friends, but this group of white people jumped this one black guy.
Mm-hmm.
Once the boat docked, the other crew members, which were black, and really probably a few patrons, they ran down on him.
Yeah,
they said, "Let's go." To sum it up, let's go.
It was a melee.
It was a melee. First of all, shout out to the first brother, which we found out was 16. I don't have his name in front of me. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either.
He didn't wait till the boat docked. He seen that happen, them jumping him. He jumped in the water and swam to the dock to help. And it wasn't no little short swim. He was in there. They're calling him, what they call him?
A lot of things.
A
lot of things. Yeah.
It was Michael something Phelps, though. The Michael Phelps one was funny. And yeah, so when we say on code, at least when I say it, I mean that's a great example of being on code. Rather than everybody just standing around and watch him get beat up and record and then hope something happens to them later. No, we're not going to allow this to happen. And so yeah. And it's been coming out recently. That there were some racial slurs thrown while they were yelling at the black security guard. I'm not shocked. You can tell by the energy of the video that came. So,
what was the song that they was listening to on the boat?
Try that in a small town. No, that's what set the vibe. They tried it in a small town, and they got dealt with. There was a lot of arrests made from it. Predominantly the white family.
Yeah.
I think so. For that one guy, the one black guy, I don't think he was charged or arrested yet. Excuse me.
I think they're still looking, according to the press. I think they're still.
Yeah, they said they're looking at more charges to come. Yeah. Only reason he will be charged because he was wielding a chair. He was going crazy with the chair.
He was physically assaulting someone with a chair.
And I don't think it would have been bad until he hit the lady sitting on the floor after like everything was done. Everybody was calmed down. But you can't tell somebody how pissed to be.
Yeah, I think, you can't dictate the clap. You're not allowed to do that.
So what's your different opinion than everyone else?
I mean, maybe it's not different, but I think my opinion is it's an interesting vibe that we're seeing now, because I think we're seeing people who are like, well, what did you win and what did you gain? And that was kind of when I meant different. Like that's an opinion that I've seen. Well, what did your community gain and what was won from this? And so
that fight was 1-for-1.
Well, that's one piece. I think a lot of people who have that opinion are going to say that doesn't mean anything. But I think in this episode, in some ways, I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself.
No, you can't do that, bro.
Let me finish. I think in some ways I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself, and in some ways I'm not, because the reality is, if you have to ask that question, what this means to your community, or why is this important, or what is the significance, then you don't know. It's one of those, if you know, you know, and if you don't, then that'll be your opinion. What you'll ask, what was won? And
they didn't know. They didn't know, and they fucked around and found out.
And so if you're on code, then you know the significance of something like this, especially you'll know the significance of it at that specific geographical location. You'll know the significance of it in the month of August. There are all these things surrounding this incident, that if you don't know, I'm not here to explain it to you. And I think that's when I hear comments like that, and I've been seeing them on the internet a little bit, well, a lot, honestly. If people don't know, I want, our community to understand it's not for us to explain everything to everybody. If you don't understand the memes, if you don't get the significance, then you just don't get it. And then
I'm going to take you one step further now. Something I noticed and a lot of people may not have noticed or may have noticed. Even the black police officers were on code. It wasn't, let me grab. We're going to let this fan out. And sometimes you have to do that. I believe a few people were pepper sprayed. And of course, you still have a job to do as law enforcement. So, of course, you got to stop the melee. But
that's not the violence.
Yeah. Like I said, that when we say, oh, well, be on code, and that's just a small example because on code don't always mean violence.
It does.
But it means HBO, help your brother out. Help a brother out.
Always. If you see something going down, we're not going to record and yell world star.
Yeah, so we weren't, granted there were plenty of people recording and, but you know what, that's also going to save a lot of people that, that joined the melee. But,
self-defense.
Yeah. When we talk about being on code, it may be financial stuff when you can be on code and help someone out. And speaking of, and I didn't share it, but the black church, I seen a video about you guys today, and the video said something like it's a $14 billion a year industry.
Go ahead and tell them.
2.5, I think they said 2.5 billion a Sunday.
Listen.
So we circling back to you, black church. I love y'all. My parents
we started. This was one of my early episodes on the black church.
My parents are church members. I grew up in the church, First Baptist in Bayshore.
So did I. New Jerusalem. So did I.
So, and it's not an attack on religion or spirituality.
At all.
It's I'm putting the business side of the church on notice. So
talk about it.
Yeah, but either way,
because I've seen a lot of people, right? Speaking of being on code, right? If the community needs help, I love us getting on code to help each other out.
Exactly.
Right?
So, like I said, it's not just violence.
I've seen a lot of celebrities who are like, yo, if people need bail now, people need lawyers, people need legal representation. But where are we not seeing that from? The church. I haven't seen one of these churches. How big is the business?
It said 250 billion a year or something like. No, 14 billion a year. 2.5 billion a Sunday.
I feel like you can go ahead and that math not math, but that's not the point. The point is they make a lot
something like that.
They make a lot of funds. And what you don't see is some of these pastors and some of these people coming out and being like, listen, for those individuals who may need some legal representation, we'll cover that. We'll help the community that needed help, in a self-defense situation. That's what you're not seeing. I haven't seen one black church come out and say that. Maybe they're doing it behind the scenes. I don't know.
So I mean, and once again, when I say that, I don't mean, necessarily just your local church, First Baptist of, Jamaica.
Ohio.
Yeah, like I'm not naming one church in particular.
But there are mega situations out there.
But I'm talking about collectively. Like,
I'm just talking about not even all of them. Just give me the ones where it's like you're on TV. Preaching the gospel.
Not like I said, when we talk about being on code, we use the Montgomery thing as being on code. We came together. So just imagine bringing a $14 billion industry together. 14 billion with a B. A $14
sounds fair to me.
billion industry. See, we must be talking about this, but y'all don't know this. A $14 billion industry.
We'll see. I mean, the Black Church, we've always got our eye on you. I've had my eye on you ever since James Baldwin said brilliantly, you want to know the most racist time during the day in American history during his time? It's 12 noon on Sunday, or maybe he said high noon on Sunday. So he was talking about or alluding to the fact that Christians, if we're all Christians, then there shouldn't be a white and black church. And clearly,
the church is the most segregated place in the country, in the world.
You know, that shout out to James Baldwin for that brilliant anecdote, because it's true. And I don't know how. And this was said years and years ago. I don't know if it's not necessarily true today. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a fact. And yeah, so I wasn't here to talk about the church in particular, but I just thought about it when we were talking about being on code and
riverboat situation. And I think, you know, a lot of people are sharing memes, and that's cool. What I will also say is, you know, be on the lookout. Black folks, always protect yourself, because, you know, let's not forget that we did have a string of, maybe it was 2 summers ago, where black men were being found hung in trees, and people were kind of not acknowledging it or saying that it was suicide. And so, you know, retaliation from certain segments or certain people, you know, is possible. And so while the memes and the jokes and all that stuff is funny, you know, be aware.
It's entertaining.
You know, be aware of what's going on around you, and make sure you're protecting yourself.
No, that's facts. That's for sure facts. But like I said, so that is an example of us being on code, and maybe we can use that as a rally for us to continue to be on code and stay on code. And,
I think more people are getting it.
Yeah, that was a perfect number. Once again, as I talk about this, I want to make it clear: it's not just about the fight and the violence.
Yeah, no.
It's the principle of the thing.
While that's hilarious, you know, and I'm not an advocate of violence, but funny is funny. I mean, some people have a dark sense of humor. I'm one of them. Funny is funny. Some of that stuff was funny.
Yeah, some of it was funny. Like the whole thing, like you could tell some of them people were just waiting, waiting to see, you know, for something like this, which is cool because whatever the reason.
Some of them old folks in Alabama, man, they've been through things that you can't understand. And
it was triggering.
You know, you go through Jim Crow South, and you know, you're not really willing to take much more shit. And I can't blame a person for that.
Yeah, like it's for sure triggering. Like it was a joy. Like I said, we don't promote violence, but it was a joy talking to my father about it. And of course, you know, he grew up in that era, the Jim Crow era, and he was amused by it. Like, well, yeah, we should have been did that. And of course,
how old is your father? Let people know how old your father.
My father's 75.
That's important. Like if you, and again, we don't want to really explain it too deep, because it's one of those things. Again, I'm not here to explain it to those who don't understand.
It's one of those things that's important to say. It wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
Like this is not my grandpa. This is my father. So just imagine what my grandparents seen and went through.
So you better be careful. I mean, I heard somebody make the analogy that, like, listen, you listen to Jason Aldean and in 2023, and in the 80s you were listening to Rocky, Eye of the Tiger, and you let that shit get you pumped up and run up on the wrong one on some nonsense, and people going to defend themselves.
Yeah, I think until the things came out about it being it was racially motivated with the racial slurs. I think it was more white privilege motivated. Like
I haven't seen that.
How dare he? Somebody posted it, said there were slurs that was brought out, that was yelled, and mentions of a gun and something like that. But hey, like I said, them people was on code. Even the first brother that ran down the ramp, I don't think he threw many punches, but he ran.
But he stopped. He made them think it twice.
He ran down just like, no, y'all not about to do this.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. While some people think it's funny, and maybe I know there are some people who from other ethnic groups, who might think that was uncalled for.
Yeah, I've seen a few comments saying that.
I want you to think about Jordan Neely in New York, the brother who got choked out on the subway and nobody did nothing.
Everybody just stopped and watched. I seen one comment that was like, "Oh, it was like 8-on-2 Well, it was 5 or 6 of y'all on one security guard just doing his job.
I'm not trying to hear it. Keep your hands to yourself. Be respectful to everyone, and we won't have any problems. Unfortunately,
that's what we say to kids.
There are certain people who, you get a couple, Michelob ices in you, and you feel like, you're Rocky Balboa, and that's not really gonna fly because people aren't into being harassed or harmed or assaulted. That's
especially if he's just doing his job. He wasn't being a jerk. He was doing his job.
From all accounts.
Like I said, from one thing, he told them not to park it there long in the first place. He asked him not to leave it there or something like that. So the man was doing his job, and you guys attacked him. That was a great example of being on cold, but I would want people to react the same if it was somebody else. I don't care who was getting jumped like that. That was dead wrong.
If they would have killed him, if nobody jumps in and they kill that security guard,
clearly he's an older gentleman.
Yeah, or really harm him, right? And strike him. The brother came, the white gentleman came in with a knee, could have really harmed this man.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going to happen, and then until it happens. So if you come in and they assault this man and really injure him, then the national conversation is much different, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I think you need to,
And then y'all want us to just hold heads and pray about it.
Yeah, no.
We forgive you. No, we don't. And
it's not okay.
Yeah, that's real. That's yeah. So that's a big thing. And I'm gonna make sure I keep an eye on like what's going on as far as charges being filed and arrests being made from it.
The brother with the chair. You went a little far. But I mean, again,
once again, my father always said, you can't step on my foot and expect me to step on your foot back. My reaction might be way worse. You can't tell me how far to go on my reaction.
And you could tell that older gentleman, that older black man had that pent up. He had suffered something that incident was triggering for him. Mm-hmm. And so I think if we're going to punish him at all, which fine, he might need to be punished right by the letter of the law. I say we're gonna get him some. I say he needs some therapy. I think
it was like the Don Reddy speech.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah, I think he needs to sit on the couch. Don't make me laugh. It's not funny. I think he needs to sit on the couch. I think that elderly gentleman needs to sit on the couch and talk to somebody about the traumas and afflictions that have gone on in his life that made him lash out and react the way that he reacted. And I ask for that community, for those in that other community who are calling for all these other things. I would ask for forgiveness because we all lash out sometimes, right?
Yeah, show us some grace.
Yeah, show us some grace. I would ask for some forgiveness. And
other communities that y'all go to church and pray for us.
Yeah, and I would like to move forward, unified as a country as we always do. So that would be my take on the whole thing.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Like I said, shout out to those people. Shout out to the 16-year-old brother that swam. Just never.
Yeah, shout out to those people who survived the interaction because it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
How you want to wrap this one?
Man, I'm gonna wrap it up by saying this. Hey, let's use that one situation as a tool to be on code. And I want to make this clear again. I want to keep making this clear. It's not just about violence.
It's never about violence.
It's that was just a small tool, a vessel to show, but the things we can accomplish when we're on code and we work together. So let's all get on code and let's be great. Let's keep building each other up, and let's take our lives to the next level.
My wrap up.
Yeah.
My wrap up is going to be regarding a little tangent conversation about politics and the.
I thought you were going to talk about the church.
Nah, because the church knows. I think the church knows that people are watching them, and I'm hoping that they're striving to make some advancements to help our community as a whole. But to the question I asked you earlier, I think it lends your hesitation. Not that it was super emotional, but I think it does speak to the bigger picture of how our community feels and how we're supposed to treat politicians. right? This is not a popularity contest. This is not about who you like. This is not about who gave you the best fish fry and collard greens and cornbread. That's not what politics is for. And so as we approach a very important election year again, I only ask that you consider taking your emotions out of this electoral process and looking at these people and individuals who you pay to serve you, and if they're doing that job to a higher level. And on that note, this podcast is all done.
All done. Love. Peace.